You know, Malcolm X said something very stunning in the 60s.
Okay.
He was having an interview at Oxford University.
Okay.
And there was a black guy on the stage who said he didn't want it to go back to Africa. Malcolm said, you left your mind in Africa.
Okay.
And when I started coming here 4 years ago, I finally understood what Malcolm was saying. I say this with all due respect, all due respect. No black person of African descent can properly know themselves without coming back to Africa.
Really?
I'm telling you, as someone who has some small knowledge in a lot of small areas, that it wasn't until I started coming back to Africa that I really started to understand who I really am. You have to connect with the land.
Okay.
And so I understand better what our ancestors were saying. So when Malcolm said you left your mind in Africa, I understand exactly what Malcolm said.
You didn't understand it then?
Not at the time.
Okay.
Not at the time. I didn't understand.
What's up, everyone? You're welcome once again to Kamaslai TV. And if this is your first time, you are gladly welcome. I know this face looks familiar. The last time I had him, a lot of people were in the comment section. You were cutting him off. You should have allowed him to flow. I was like, look, I am the moderator. If the video is 1 hour, 2 hours, you guys don't watch. I need to make it short for you. He said a lot of things. I mean, even though you wanted more, that video didn't allow you. The more reason why I still have room over here for him to say some of the things he did not say. So today, he's here. I'll let him introduce himself once again. Then we go straight to the conversation. So if you are here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Kamaslai TV, and listen to wisdom. Boss, you're welcome once again to Kamaslai TV.
Thank you, brother. Come back.
Yeah, I said, you saw the comment section. Everybody was like, you should have allowed him to flow. If you saw some of, most people said I was cutting you off.
Sure.
But first of all, please tell us your name once again.
My name is Tony Riddick.
Okay, Tony Riddick. You are here in Ghana from?
I'm here in Ghana from the United States of America.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. He's from the US. Now he's one of us. And you like it here in Ghana, right?
Oh, brother, I love it here in Ghana.
Okay.
I'm very comfortable here in Ghana. Ghana feels like home.
Okay.
And if you're an African living outside of Ghana, you have to come back to Ghana so you can see what it feels like to be at home. You know, Malcolm X said something very stunning in the 60s.
Okay.
He was having an interview at Oxford University.
Okay.
And there was a black guy on the stage who said he didn't want it to go back to Africa. Malcolm said, you left your mind in Africa.
Okay.
And when I started coming here 4 years ago, I finally understood what Malcolm was saying. I say this with all due respect, all due respect. No black person of African descent can properly know themselves without coming back to Africa.
Really?
I'm telling you, as someone who has some small knowledge in a lot of small areas, that it wasn't until I started coming back to Africa that I really started to understand who I really am. You have to connect with the land.
Okay.
And so I understand better what our ancestors were saying. So when Malcolm said you left your mind in Africa, I understand exactly what Malcolm said.
You didn't understand it then?
Not at the time.
Okay.
Not at the time. I didn't understand it at the time because I had never came to Africa.
Okay.
You know, and of course, I wasn't born when Malcolm was on the scene, but from studying Malcolm and reading books related to Malcolm, when I heard him make that comment, and then when I came here for the first time, it resonated like nothing else. Okay. So when Malcolm said you left your mind in Africa, he's absolutely right. Okay.
This is the twist of it. I wanted us to talk about something else, but with what he just started with, I think we should just start. Let me just ask you the one question. I think I need to bring it here.
Yeah.
Can you please give African American or African diasporan or African living abroad,
sure,
give them reason to come back home? After that, we will do another video and talk about why I actually came to see you. Because, I mean, the tangent you've taken, the angle you've taken it from, I think I love it. I want you to give them reason they should come back to Africa. Maybe 5 reasons, maybe I don't know how many reasons you have.
Oh, but we can talk.
Yes, so let's talk.
We can
One
talk.
reason why, or give first reason why you think they should come. I think what you said about Malcolm, it should be one of the reasons. even though I didn't. So what other reasons, or somebody will be there and saying, is that enough reason for me to come to Africa? Maybe you have other reasons because you have your food here, you have experienced this and all that. If you have other reasons why you think Africans abroad or blacks outside Africa to come back to Ghana, please let them know.
Well, there are many reasons, right? But as Malcolm gave us a big reason, I like to say now, one of the main reasons why we should come back is we have to repatronize. We have to reconnect with the land, the soil, the water, the people. It's very important as we continue to progress as humankind. It's very, very important. Thirdly, it's very important from an economical perspective now. I want you to think about this. Africa has the fastest growing economies in the world. But the majority of the people that are benefiting from the economies that are growing in Africa are not African.
True.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
True.
So now what has to happen is that the diasporans, with all of their experiences as it relates to economics, have to move here so that they can benefit in this new economic boom. Now, what we saw in America after 1776, when America won her independence, is no comparison to what Africa would see in terms of economics. Understanding that America has the largest economy in the world, boasting to some $23 trillion a year. The second economy to her would be China. None of that can compare to what Africa as a continent will experience. So the economic boom that we're about to experience on this continent is more than enough reason why we should come back economically. You want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, because somebody's listening to you. Most time when I ask, people think you don't know, you want to know. Okay, let's take it, I don't know. But some of this I know. But I want you to break it down for people to understand this economy. How do they tap into it? How do they get it? These are things. I don't want to be cutting you off because the previous video, a lot of people came in the comments. They came at me. So I want to let you flow. But then again, I have to interject sometimes. And ask. So please explain this for them. Because this, I think, is one of the reasons why they would like to come. The economic reason is also one. Even though the other, the two previous you said are very important. But this is also one. So please.
So when you look at Africa right now, every economist in the world will agree that Africa is the most resourcefully rich continent in the world. There are no questions about that from anyone. If you take the recent comment from Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter, in 2019, Dorsey said, whoever controls the resources in Africa will control the world. Now, when Dorsey said that, light sparks went off in me, right? So, and what I mean by that is, whoever controls the resources in Africa will control the world. The problem is that Africans are not controlling the resources in Africa. So here now, he created an opportunity for African Americans or diasporans to come to Africa so that we can gain access to the resources. Let's slow down for a second. What are some of the resources here? Let's take gold. In the 1970s and 80s, South Africa and Ghana were the leading producers of gold in the world. No one led them. Now, the leading producers of gold in the world, number one is China. Number two is Russia. Number three is Australia. Number four is Canada. Number five is America. Number six is Ghana. Now, what happened? How did China become number one? How did Russia become number two? When you look at the mines here, all you see are Chinese. Are you listening? When you look at the mines here, all you see are Russians. You see Australians. They're here taking the resources from Ghana. Back to their homes. This is why China is number one now. Now, here's the danger in that. I'm coming back to the gold. Now, look at this. Ghana just discovered, although it's always been here, lithium. Ghana just discovered lithium. California, a state in the United States of America, has a mandate that by 2035, 25% of the vehicles have to be electric. Now, why is this so important? Because there's a large percentage of African Americans in California.
Yeah.
Now, what we see happening in California was spread all across America. It was spread all across Europe and the rest of the world. Now, the opportunity for African Americans to come here to start getting themselves involved with these raw minerals, these natural resources, is very important, because now we can create businesses based upon that. So we need to create a relationship between the governments of Africa, but specifically Ghana, and the diasporans, so that we can join in this economic boom. If we don't, we're going to be left in the cold. And what that means for those of you that are hanging on to America, America's economic boom is done. It's just a matter of time before America collapses economically. America cannot sustain her position of economic power that she has enjoyed for the past 256 some odd years. She cannot sustain it, because the world is turning against her. And when you look at her level of debt collectively, $156 trillion, how can you pay that back with a gross national product of $23 trillion? You cannot. You can't pay it back. So why would you drown in America? Why? You know what's getting ready to happen. And if you want to subscribe to the biblical prophecy associated with it, go read Revelations 13 and Revelations 18 and pay attention to it, talking about the eagle. Now, all of this being said, if Ghana has discovered lithium, it's been here. There are things here in this earth, on this continent, that hasn't been discovered. But check this out, family. Now you think about this. Ghana discovered lithium. 42.36 square kilometers of lithium. 26 tons of lithium. The company who has been granted the contract to mine the lithium is an Australian company. Now think about this. Think about this. An Australian company. Australia is the third leading producer of gold. Now, where would this place Australia as it relates to producing lithium? Why can't we be the benefactors? We are the children of Africa. We are the children of Ghana. Now, here's the shameful part. Here's the shameful part.
Let's hear it.
10% royalties is what Ghana will get. Now, when you have resources on a continent that strong, your resources should be tied to economic development for the masses. What does that mean? There should be schools connected to it. What else does that mean? Banking, hospitals, all should be connected to it. Has that been negotiated in the contracts? Not the ones that I read. It hasn't been negotiated. What else does that mean? That the company from Australia should be obligated to hire a certain percentage of Ghanaians, specifically in central Ghana where it was discovered, so that now they can learn how to mine. And as a result of that, there should be sub-mining companies spinning off of Australia, lithium, INC. That's what should be happening.
And these sub-companies should be local companies.
Local companies. The sub-companies should be local Ghanaian-owned companies. And those sub-companies have to get their resources locally.
Even if not Ghanaians, this should be people coming from diaspora that have the black skin. They should benefit from this.
All of us should benefit from it. They should. So what I'm saying is that our ancestors, they're opening up the floodgates. So we have the exit Britain. We have the exit Canada. We have the exit America. And now what we have to do is come and put all of our efforts in rebuilding Africa in a way that's beneficial for Africans. Because remember now, the best religion that an African can have is what?
Africa.
Africa. That's the best religion he can have.
I learned that from you.
Yes, of course. That's the best religion that he can have. And having that religion, it will show him what you do. So that's the fourth reason. So because the resources here. Go ahead.
No, I would like for you to continue. I'm enjoying it. I know everybody watching is also enjoying it. I'm not going to interrupt. Just flow. Just do your thing.
So let's continue to talk. So if you look again at what Dorsey said, and if you look at the mandate in California, which will take wave all across the United States of America. And for those of you that are not familiar with lithium, it's a mineral element that's used in batteries, lightweight like silver, and on a periodic table, the atomic weight is 3.
Okay.
And it gives us longer battery life.
Okay.
Less chances of explosion. So
Less.
anybody who's building electric cars, anybody who's going to be building robotic systems, anybody that's going to have sophisticated medical equipment will have to use lithium batteries.
You see? That's one thing we African are not using now because we are not there yet. Technologically, Africa is not there yet. And they are going to benefit more than us, regardless.
So we have an economic boom that we can tap into. Now, let me back up and show you some things on how beautiful this can be. In the United States of America, in around the year 1626, then again around the year 1712, 1785, around the year 1840, what we saw was Europeans coming into America.
Okay.
And the Europeans that were allowed to come into America were given land. They were given land. On that land, there was gold.
Okay.
There was oil. It made the Europeans wealthy in the United States of America.
Okay.
But most of America's wealth was based upon slavery.
Okay.
When they kidnapped my and your ancestors, took them forcefully into the United States of America, made them work from sun up to sundown without any pay whatsoever. Stripped them of their language, their religion, their social understanding, stripped them of all of that. They couldn't even speak to one another. But it built the wealth in the United States of America. So the Europeans, they opened the floodgates, the European Americans opened the floodgates for Europeans to come in, giving them land. It's called the Free Land Act, giving them land. What am I saying? Yes, 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 you're correct. Africa will have to open its doors. Africa will have to give the diasporans some incentive to come to Africa. And the reason why that's very important, there's no people better equipped to serve Africa than the diasporans and the Africans that are on the continent. So when we come here, we have to come with the mindset that we're serving. Now, this is why one of the things, this is why one of the things that you see us doing, me and my brother, Stuart and Jason, we build water wells. That's our way of tithing back to the continent. We don't charge any money, family. We go in our own pockets, come up with the money to build these water wells. And we're doing it because we understand the true power of African tithing. You have to give back to the earth. We understand the power of pouring libations. It becomes very important. So now in understanding that, we're tithing back to the earth. The earth will open her gateways up to us. And this is very important that we understand that.
I wanted to ask you, there are people watching you from the States and other countries outside Africa. They are like, I don't know anybody in Africa. How am I just going to get up and go to Africa that I want to tap into this? But I want to be part of these people. How did you get here? And how do you think these people that feel African, know their skins are black, they want to come back here? How do they just come? It's just like me trying to travel to America right now. I don't know anybody in the US. I get a visa. Now, I just drop at JFK. Where do I go?
Well, your ancestors didn't know anybody in America when they were kidnapped and taken to America. The Caribbeans. We didn't know anybody there, but we survived. Kwame Nkrumah said it best. I love my uncle Kwame Nkrumah, so you'll hear me quote him a lot. He said it best. He said, you're not African because you were born in Africa. You are Africa because Africa is born in you. You understand what I'm saying? So if you are of African descent, everything you need to know about Africa is already in you. It's in your DNA. And here's the other thing you'll find out. You know more about Africa than anybody. Listen to me good, family. Listen to me real good. This stuff right here, this melanin, this right here, the best natural conductor and receiver in the world. When you start going into Africa, the energy that's coming from this stuff that you call melanin will cause your pores to open up. You'll feel the vibration and the rhythm of all the people here on the continent welcoming you. You'll know how to communicate with them through the old African science called melographics. This is what we have to go back to. So in understanding that, you know more about Africa than you think you know. When I came here for the first time,
Very good.
about 4 years ago, you understand?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know anybody based on a physical makeup.
Okay.
But family, when I tell you, being from North Carolina, when I tell you, when I got off the airplane, I saw my uncles, I saw my aunties, I saw my cousins, I saw my grandmother, my great-grandfather, all of them are here. And let me tell you something, it is so encouraging because when I go up to little kids, they call me daddy.
Yeah.
Are you hearing what I'm saying? They call me uncle. They call me grandson. They call me son. It's because the African spirit that's born in you has already connected you to the continent. Let's take it a step further. Those of you that are part of the descendants of slaves, especially.
Yeah.
We understood higher levels of communication. I make this argument all the time, although I haven't been able to prove it scientifically. The lowest form of communication is oral communication. That's the lowest form.
Okay.
The highest form of communication is when you can sit in silence and project your thoughts across the room. You don't even have to speak the language. You understand what I'm saying? There's a scripture in the Bible. I don't want to get biblical with y'all, but there's a scripture in the Bible that says Jesus knew your thoughts before you spoke them.
Sure, sure.
Jesus, the African revolutionary, was practicing ancient African mystery science. So in terms of knowing someone, no. Don't let that stop you. You know everybody here on the continent. And because you know them, it's important that when you come in such a humble way that enriches the connection between you and that person.
Okay. Before I want to ask him the last question. I think this, after explaining this, I think that will wrap it up. Have you been to the Cape Coast Castle?
I have.
How did you feel getting there? And do you think it's another reason why all African diasporan or anybody of black skin living outside Ghana should come? Tell them the experience and why you feel even that is one of the reasons. Because even me, I was born here in Ghana and everything. Anytime I go there, I feel it. So imagine you. I mean, I want you to tell them. I don't need to talk much because you've been there.
Yeah. I've been there several times.
Okay.
And
not just once?
No. Several times I've been there. I've probably been there 3 times.
Okay.
The importance of experiencing such an atrocity, such a high level of terror is eye-opening in so many ways. Number one, it lets you know immediately that the people that kidnapped us, raped our grandmothers, are not people at all. It quickly lets you know that we're dealing with non-human subjects. Sure. Listen, please, respectfully for those of you that are listening, it quickly let you know that there is a difference between the Neanderthal and Africans. We don't have Neanderthal DNA, but the people that kidnapped us, they have Neanderthal DNA. This is according to the Genome Project of 2003, that when all the scientists came together discussing DNA. So that right there was really confirmation for me.
What did they come up with?
That the Europeans have about 7 to 15% Neanderthal DNA, pre-human DNA, animalistic DNA.
Really?
Africans don't have that. Asians have it. Africans, we're the only one that doesn't have it, right? So that DNA gives them the ability to lynch black men, to castrate black men, to take pregnant black women and tie one leg to one horse, another leg to the other horse, let the fetus drop out, and then stop the fetus once it's on the ground. It takes an animal mindset to be able to do such. Such atrocity is inhumane. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We don't have that. So that confirmed it for me. The other thing too is that I had been studying the slave trade for so long that it didn't bring me to tears. It just confirmed much of what I was studying. You understand what I'm saying? And then it gave me a clearer depiction of why Christianity even became such a driving force in our lives, because at the top of the slave castle was a church.
Yeah.
And they would indoctrinate us.
And they could see people just in front of the church door. They could see the slaves in the dungeon.
Yes, of course. They would even indoctrinate us in the villages before they came to the slave dungeon. And we'll talk about that in this next video that we're going to do when we're talking about religion. So, but here's the other thing. The primary effects of the slave trade were mostly felt in Ghana. There's so many dungeons in Ghana. I think your estimates are 44 out of 50 were in Ghana. There are very few in Nigeria, although Nigeria has a strong connection with the slave trade.
True.
And this is why you heard me say I'm from Nungwa.
Yeah.
Right? Ghana.
We're in Nungwa right now.
Yeah,
so
we're in Nungwa right now.
Nungwa, best Western. You can see the oceans behind us. Like, it's very beautiful over here. He liked Nungwa a lot.
Oh, I love Nungwa.
He talked a lot about Nungwa.
Yeah, so, although there's a higher percentage of Nigerian in me.
Yeah, but why Ghana?
Well, you know, many of the Nigerians that are here, Ghanaians in general, are Nigerian. That mix is so great.
True.
And many of the, of course, the Ghanaians left Nigeria in the 80s.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into that
let's
necessarily.
Not get into it. I just wanted to keep them raising.
Yeah. But for us, because the slave trade was so prominent here, there's a much stronger connection as a result of that.
Yeah.
So it made sense to kind of connect in a deeper way here in Ghana. And I would recommend for any of you that are going to be coming to Africa that you have to come home.
Yeah.
Right? And Ghana, the West Coast, is your primary home.
True.
Although a small percentage of slaves were coming from East Africa.
Yeah.
I think most historians might put the numbers around 3-5% or something like that.
Yeah.
But the majority of them came out of West Africa.
Yeah. So if you want to know more of everything he just spoke about, like he just did a summary. If you want to know, come to Africa, come to Ghana first. Yeah. Like Steve Harvey said, before you come to Africa, or if you want to come to Africa, Ghana should be the first. If you come to Ghana, Ghana is like the gateway to Africa. You get to understand what Africa is all about, how the slave trade started in Africa and everything. After that, you can start going to other African countries, knowing about all this. So my big man over here summarized everything for us. He has given you a reason why you should come to Africa, and Ghana should be the first you should come to, just as Steve Harvey also said. So thank you so much. We are going to do another video because this was not meant to be part of the video, but yeah, this is I actually love this. I've learned a lot from this, and I know you guys also learned a lot. So if you want to watch the next video and the subsequent videos, kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel Kamasly TV, and I'm going to bring you stuff like this every now and then. Subscribe, drop your comment. If you are coming to Africa, let me know. And are you on social media?
I'm not.
You are not.
I just have email.
Because if I know a lot of people will disturb you. I wouldn't want to put your email out there because it will be disturbing you from the diaspora. I want to come to Africa. I need you to give me a guideline and all that. So we are not doing any of that, but I know you can find your way to Africa. He did that in everything. So thank you so much. You want to say something to them finally?
No, listen, family, you know, I love you so much. And I don't think I know the importance and urgency of us collecting whatever resources we have and finding ways. Don't put yourself in no jam, but finding ways to connect back to the continent. It's very important. The continent awaits you, and all of its resources are your resources. So prayerfully, you'll be able to make your pilgrimage here to Africa. May the blessings of the Most High continue to rest upon you. Peace, family.
All right. Thank you.